Were you at the Kitchen and Bath show this year? There was a lot of
Not
cabinets
this year.
that had a lot
Yeah.
of touch open.
Yep, a
And
lot of
knee
touch
open
less.
was
Yep,
really
a lot
cool.
of touch less. And that's what's exciting about universal design is to be able to see innovation, being creative, because it's not a box you have to design to. You be creative, and that's the great part that's happened. I mean, who would have ever thought from the ice box to a refrigerator drawer,
Right.
we'd be seeing that in my lifespan?
Yeah. Is there a story here for ease of installation as well?
Of course, ease of installation. Absolutely ease of installation. Because you've got, both sides of the coin for dollars, right? So you're looking at, okay, it's $300 for this, but it's $500 to install it. What am I going to do with that? So when we look at products being integrated in the very beginning of a design, then it's not solution driven, which is more costly. You come and you go, okay, I'm just going to do this part, and then that's more costly. But when you integrate it throughout, it becomes very cost effective.
Okay, great. So Susan, here we are. The population is aging,
Right.
and so they have to live somewhere.
Right.
So the next question is, how do you retrofit these houses, and how do you design these houses to be accessible for this population? Where do we start?
Well, we start from infancy. Universal design designs for all ages and all abilities. And so when you're looking at home modifications, that's a different category than a production or a spec builder who has a certain footprint of what they're working with, right?
Okay.
And so introducing all of those universal design features, the rocker switches and, wider doorways to be a 3-foot wide doorway so it nets out a 34-inch clear width opening. Really looking at the features that they could automatically introduce that don't necessarily cost any more money. It's just where to put those. So being proactive in the design up front with universal design allows for some simple modification moving forward. Home modifications on the other side of the coin, it's very challenging. It's a fixed environment that's been there for many years. Something happens in someone's life with a diagnosis or accident, and now all of a sudden the home needs to be responsive, and it's not. So people either stay in their home and make do. You end up with a hospital bed potentially in your dining room and bed baths, versus, someone then doing a modification, and where's the dollars to do that? Or do they move, and what do they move into? So the customization of home modifications is a large part of what happens in construction now.
Okay.
To support.
Okay, so let's stick with that theme for a second, because we've all heard the complaints that accessible products tend to be unattractive. What grade do you give products in 2016, 2015?
What grade?
Yeah.
We've come so far. Having been in the field for so many decades, just to give you a quick background, my first use of a grab bar on a project, I had to powder coat it because I refused to have the institutional or stigmatized look for the client. And chrome isn't necessarily the best thing to be able to try and reach for in a reduced lighting and a wet environment. So we powder coated them. It was a little maintenance issue, but we powder coated them. But today we've got refrigerator drawers, so we can put a drawer in the master suite for someone to be able to have their medications or juices or whatever they need at point of use. We've got dishwasher drawers. We've come so far with products. We were looking today at the phantom screen, removing the door screen at the front entry and looking at the phantom screen. There are lots and lots of products, but we have a huge way to go from manufacturers to understand, is it accessible that they're really trying to work towards, or is it more of a universal integrated approach?